It was a dark, slightly damp, cold winter's evening at a sports centre in Essex, and I'd gone there along with a few others to lead a very large Christian worship service in this sports centre, and people had gathered from all over that part of Essex in the UK for the service. And I remember looking around and seeing all the people there, and I turned to my friend who was the speaker for the evening, and I said to him, why is it that the church seems to attract such a weird bunch of people? Because I'd looked around and the people there were, in my estimation, weird. They probably thought the same of me. And I remember my friend's answer. He said to me, Matt, because this is the only place where they can find a home. As part of my journey of exploring whether there's a God or not, my two friends invited me along to their church. I went along, curious, slightly reluctant, and what was there surprised me. It was a fairly scruffy church. They met in a school hall. They weren't a very smart group of people. But what I realised was that the people in the room were all different. They weren't all of one type, of one age, of one class, or of one race. But they all seemed to get on with each other. But not just get on with each other when they were together for an hour or two at a service, but I realised as I got to know them that they were helping each other out during the week, that they were round each other's houses. They were seeking to encourage and support each other, to love each other. They weren't perfect, but what I found there was a community that seemed to behave differently than every other community I knew. My school, the place where I worked, my friends, my sports club, they were okay, they were friendly, but there was something different about the way the people in this church behaved. And it intrigued me and attracted me. I would be the first to admit that the church throughout the last 2,000 years has been far from perfect. In fact, if we're honest, at times it's been downright awful. However, I want to suggest that when you look at the church, particularly at a local level, within local churches of whatever flavour, you will find again and again and again communities of people seeking to love each other and to serve those outside of the church in a way that is different to what is normal in our society. Back in the early centuries of the church, the Roman Emperor Julian, known now as Julian the Apostate, because he wasn't a Christian, he was a pagan, he worshipped the old gods. And he wrote a letter to the priests of the pagan temples complaining about the Christians and about the churches. And his complaint was that they were caring for each other, they were caring for the poor, but not only were they caring for each other, they were caring for the people that weren't Christians, for the pagans within society. And he complained that the priests from the pagan temples weren't even looking after their own poor, let alone other people's. Now he thought all this was a trick by the Christians. But what he'd identified was that this is something that should be at the heart of the church. And my experience when I first encountered the church and since then was that that's true. The church isn't perfect, at times has its problems, but has within it, because of the things that Jesus said, a love and a care and a community that is unlike anything else that I've ever experienced. And it attracted me and it inspired me. And when I came to the point of deciding to believe in God, I joined the church and have been part of it ever since. And so my invitation to you is go and take a look. Stick your head round the door, go and meet some people that are Christians. Go along to one of their services and have a look for yourself and see if there might just be something about this church, about this community, that could speak of the truth of the God who we worship.